there, folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. And when last we left off, we're here in the Black Meadow, and we've just come across some awfulness using our Watcher's sight. Ugh, this doesn't fill me with confidence about where we're going. We found the blacksmith shipment. It was here, being held by bandits that had waylaid the wagons and taken what they could. We're going to be returning that shortly, but not before we head to this screen and go to Caed Nua. Now, the plot says we need to come here, but we're not going to be exploring the structure at large. We're just here for one thing. 18 hours? That's fine. This does look quite important. But we're not going to go into the keep just yet. What we're going to do is cross this crumbling bridge and find you. Look at what's in his hands. That's an arquebus.
Yes?
I want that. Just off the side of the path to Caed Nua stands an imposing figure, a tall, thick-set Umawa, clad in worn armour and peering up at the outer walls of the keep. In his hand is a small piece of charcoal, and it works feverishly at taking notes upon a small scrap of paper. More than once he has to reach up to prevent his colourful cap from falling off his head as he gazes upwards. What are you doing over there? The man looks over at you, blinking in surprise. His face splits in a wide and very toothy grin, and he waves the parchment in greeting. Killing time, if I'm honest. I've already walked the perimeter twice. There are names scratched upon some of the bricks just there. Workers and masons, I expect, carving a little immortality for themselves. He looks up at the wall again, expression fond. It's a fine keep, Caed Nua. 2 centuries to its name, and abandoned for nearly as long.
But the truly interesting part is in there, and I haven't had much luck in reaching the keep itself. I hoped to find the master of this place, a man by the name of Merwald. But it seems that he either holds his privacy most dear, or else has been devoured by his house guests.
Let's hope it's the first one. What do you want from Merwald?
Knowledge. Or, to be less clever about it, a certain text. I've come in search of a great treasure, you see. Not gold or silver, but the Tanvi Oratoa. You might call it the Book of Virtues. It's a sacred text of Rauatai, but we possess only a small fragment of it.
A year I've journeyed in search of the rest, and I found evidence suggesting that the original lies there, beneath the keep. I want to ask Merwald if he knows of it. And you, my friend, why are you here? Apparently I'm something called a Watcher, and Merwald can tell me what that means.
A Watcher? Oh, you've spoken with spirits? There are many questions I would ask if I could do the same.
He seems very accepting of the fact that we're a Watcher. Well, perhaps we can help one another. The grounds are infested with all manner of beasts. I have never seen the like. I did not want to risk it alone, but you seem capable. Together, I'm sure we could manage it, and then we can both ask our questions of Merwald. Let's go meet Merwald, then.
Excellent. Lead on, my friend, and I will be at your heels. Ah! Wait, speaking of that, I ought to warn you first. Wondrous teeth, I nearly forgot. I have, at times, been followed. It began in Edér, and in Exametal they attacked outright. I believe they do not wish for me to find what I am looking for.
And who are they in this instance?
I say believe, but I have been told as much by one of my would-be assassins. I pay them little mind. Humorless sorts in long robes. But it's why I bought the sword, you see. And it's only fair that you should know.
Also the gun. You seem very calm about this.
Well, it's not as if I'm going to turn around and go home at their urging. If their previous efforts are anything to go by, we have very little to worry about.
Noted. Right. He has joined our team. And I believe he is, if we check his stats, a chanter. More importantly, he is a man that is carrying an arquebus. Matchlock firearms of high power and fair accuracy, arquebuses are prized for their ability to penetrate wizards' arcane veils. Right, I hope you don't have any abilities that focus on, okay, ancient memory and field triage, so you are not focused on using arquebuses. Good, because this is mine now. You can have this. Have a bow. I'm gonna have a gun. Much better. Do you have any particular equipment? You have the Brigandine and you have Kana's Turban. Hats come in many different shapes, sizes, and a wide variety of colours. Deerwoodens are known for their modest rustic hats, while Valians are associated with broad-brimmed hats featuring a variety of exotic plumes. Oh, we can also give you a cloak. We should totally give you a cloak. We have here... We could give you this cape. There you go. Perfect. Actually, no, we'll give you the red cape, because that seems to better match your colour palette. There we go. Right. There's something I want to do now, something I haven't done yet. It'll be very important for our equipment, and that is enchanting. Now, enchanting allows us to add certain effects, like we could add accuracy 1. But what I really want to work towards is fine, and for that we need Pilgrim's Crown. We need a second Pilgrim's Crown. Once we have that, we can make it fine, which adds plus for accuracy and 15% damage. There's also exceptional and superb and legendary. We're just missing a Pilgrim's Crown. That's all we're missing. Is that a Pilgrim's Crown?
At once.
I highly doubt it. It is not. We need to find one. But
I'm here.
I'm sure we will. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to head back to Gilded Vale. And we can go straight back to Gilded Vale from here. It'll take 1 day to complete your journey from Caed Nua to Gilded Vale. I imagine Kana going, you said we were going to explore that area. I did, but we're going over here just to hand in the shipment and do some other things. If you're sure. We're going to be going back to Caed Nua, right? Oh, absolutely. The main quest demands we do. The what? Don't mind them. They're a bit strange. Okay. So, we are now back. We can hand in our shipment.
I'm here.
By going... Let's check the map over to... Oh! Smithy is just there. Excellent. The party is certainly taking shape, isn't it? We have a fighter, a wizard, a cleric, a bard equivalent, and we're a ranger. We just need another tank. Another tank and we'll be fine. Hello. I've got your shipment for you.
Hail, traveler.
Ah, you're back. Anything I can help you with? I found that shipment you were waiting on. Tuatano reaches out to take the crate, raising it effortlessly onto the counter. His face splits in a broad smile. Why, so you are. This is excellent news. We can finally get back to work, and show you real Black Hammer quality. None of these flimsy little swords. Here, I'll give you a taste. He ducks behind the counter and rises with a heavy wooden shield in his hand. Might not have had much in the way of materials to work with, but it's still Black Hammer craftsmanship. You can go and take it. You've gained an item, Lardador. And here, some coin for your troubles too. Did you find anyone with the wagon? Bandits overtook the wagon. I doubt your people survived. Tuatanu shakes his head, running a hand over his bald pate. Poor fools. Always told them they ought to hire some guards instead of palming the extra coin. He sighs. I'll have to hire on more hands. Don't suppose you want to settle in Gilded Vale or try some delivery work? He smiles thinly. You have my thanks for your assistance, friend. Give me some time to work the forge, and you'll have your pick of the next run of weapons. So, we got handed this. This shield appears to have once, quite literally, comprised the front of a larder. It still has the pull ring and metal crossbands reinforcing its surface, giving it considerable heft when swung at an opponent. Despite its humble origins, the nicks and gouges on the shield's surface suggest that it has seen more than a few battles in its time, and proved a sturdy defense, though it leaves the harrowing prospect that there may be a larder somewhere lying undefended. Oh no! Let us compare this to what you're using. One-handed, 30... That is just... It's bigger, but it also has bashing too. You know, I'm going to give you that. You are now using a larder door. Enjoy. We have some things to sell you.
Hail and well met.
Always good to see a friendly face. I hope the Vale is doing kindly by you. We've made good use of those supplies you brought us. We're in the 5 seconds since you put that shield in hand. Some of my best work. You ever want to see our special stock? Just say the word. Let's see your wares then, of course. I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. So now they have... Ooh, they do have some nice stuff. A fine rapier, fine warhammer. If we scroll down, they have a fine medium shield. They have an outworn buckler. They have fine brigadine, fine robes, fine breastplates. Ooh, there's so much good stuff here. There's a lot of nice stuff. There's also minor rings, the blunting belt, the cape of withdrawal, and a couple of other things. Right, we need to go into our stash because we need to absolutely sell you a lot of this. We don't need any of this. We don't need any of this. We'll keep the spear, though. As for armor, yeah, sell all of that. I require none of these. Keep potions and reagents. Do you want these? I'll keep them just in case. Definitely keep all of that, though. We need to find another Pilgrim's Crown. I need to find another Pilgrim's Crown. That's going to be... We can also retrain our characters here if we want to. Let's trade this away. We also might want to get a couple of camping supplies. Or maybe just one. Give me 1 camping supplies. Thank you. Where am I going to find some Pilgrim's Crown? I feel like I've missed some Pilgrim's Crown somewhere. Perhaps I might find some when we go look for the midwife at the place we were told about. But for now, we're going to go back to the inn and we're going to rest. We need to rest. There's this. That's not going to be what I want, is it? No, no it's not. Unfortunate, but there we go. Here we go. You don't sell Pilgrim's Crown, do you? I'd imagine that if anywhere's going to sell it, it might be here.
Well met, friend.
Alright, I'd like a room first. Give me the common room. And then...
I'm here.
We'll see what other things
Hail
you have.
and well met.
I'd like to see what you have for sale. No. No, there's nothing else there.
I'm here.
Okay. With that done, we should now head back to the place to the south, and then keep going south. Let's save here. With a party of 5, not including... You ever been to Defiance Bay? No? With the roads like they are, I'll stay put.
I'm here.
This is... Pilgrim's Crown! That is exactly what I was looking for! Excellent! Okay, that is so fortunate. Right, we're going to be spending a lot of money.
You're quite friendly, aren't you?
But it's going to be worth it, because we can enchant this to be fine. Plus 4 accuracy, plus 15% damage. It's a lot of money, but it's gonna be worth it. We can't even enchant to this level until we get to level 8, so enchant. Now it is a fine arquebus. Fantastic. Really pleased about that. Now we have not just a boomstick, but a fine boomstick. And with that, we're going to go this way. Head to Magran's Fork. And head south. I'm not sure what Chanters can do exactly, mechanically. I'll have a look.
Following your lead.
That you are. Right. We have March of the Kamoa. Right-click for details. At the sight of the comrades, their hearts grew bold. Blessed was Wenderth, quickest of his tribe. I don't get how this works.
Yes?
By the way, we can just talk to people. We should probably do that. I hope that old Watcher's still there. Been years since I heard anything about him. What is it you want to ask this Watcher in Caed Nua? Just some things about the past. About the war. I've been thinking I missed my chance to find out what I wanted to know. That old Watcher, though. He opens up some new possibilities. I was wondering about Aethys.
It makes two of us.
What is... Do you still worship Aethys?
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
Far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anybody since the Godhammer detonated. Why worship him then? He grimaces. Well, if it turns out he's not dead, and I gave up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption's gotta have standards. I'd probably be reborn as a fat Amana's horse. That's not really it, though. Not all of it, anyway. He casts a sidelong glance. Guess it's more I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way. Why did you choose to worship Aethys in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshipping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
He looks you in the eye, conspiratorial. Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad only Aethys could forgive. It'd explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Did you only worship him because that's how you were raised?
Mm-mm. There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years and look what happens.
What made you think that Waidwen didn't speak for Aethys?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Raed Saris. It was when he sent his armies into Dyrwood.
Up to that point, it was sticking up for his people. That's what Aethys does, at least the Gorn part of him. Those farmers were starving, and their government didn't lift a finger. I figured if it wasn't Aethys himself, at least he had the right idea. But then he sent armies across the border. He even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that escaped their rebellion, wanted to punish them, and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit for me. Those are the deeds of a vengeful god, Skayan, or Wodika maybe. Or just a man who'd lost his sense. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true. Tell me about the purchase.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
I wouldn't have asked if I didn't want to know. It's eye-opening, seeing just how naked you are when you've got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was a hard time to be a Dyrwoodan. People thought it was the end times. They talked big about how we were gonna defeat a god, but I don't think there was a man from here to the White March didn't think he was gonna die. It does something to you, thinking you're gonna die at someone else's hand. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Cold Morn that started it. Town near the border. They let Waidwen march right through. Rest of Dyrwood cursed their names till the end of the war. Some say it was the Aethosians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others said it was just cowardice. It was like the legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so we just picked whichever one best suited what they wanted to believe. Either way, that town was burning before the first ashes of Aethys hit the ground, and it felt good to see the people here, to be in control after being so helpless. So the fire spread. A lot of Aetherians went the way of our god. There were claims from a church of Magran that she'd actually commanded the purges. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around it like she was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Waydwin. I'd like to ask about something else.
What's on your mind?
I want to ask about you. If you're sure. What did you do before this?
Oh, other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Aethys. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. I made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the god of redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Aethys.
Probably. Did the people of Gilded Vale really try to kill you, Edér?
They did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life, but only for one night. And they were all sorry to hear about my brother. Took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Aethasians being murdered in the streets. Cold morn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said.
And yet.
But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did. Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was going to fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Really?
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years.
Why did you stay so long in a town that hated you then?
Well, I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Aethasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't.
And it didn't.
The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little Hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, the Salvation it was called. They went running. This Salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it, giving them enough personality to care for themselves. Well, you can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down, became wild things, monsters. Anyway, these farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. Then one day she snaps. They found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen.
Oh.
Well, the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he'd visit every day, feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about him. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief. He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
I can imagine. Do you have any family, Edér? Just my parents now. They took a ship back to Edér when the purges started. Wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Been a long time since I've seen them. I should really visit, but for some reason I haven't much felt like leaving home. Good thing it chased me out, or I might have never left. I want to ask about something else.
What's on your mind?
I suppose nothing else. Let's keep moving.
I'm here.
And when we come back, folks, we will head further south and possibly talk to more people in our party, like Aloth or Durrance. They probably have much to tell us. It's always nice to get to know the people we're traveling with that much better. It's always a good thing. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not. And if you are subscribed, press that bell for those notifications. And I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later. Gotta make sure we find more reagents as we travel about. Gonna need to do some more enchanting soon enough.